The Vergas Show is brought to you by Spanky Stone Hearth, casual fine dining on beautiful Rose Lake. Vergas State Bank, your locally owned community full-service bank. Vergas Event Center for gatherings large or small, including weddings. Vergas Liquor Store, where all the profits profit Vergas.
Make the right call. Call Hanson's, the most trusted name in plumbing and heating.
Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherri Hanson. Thanks for joining me. 2025, here we are, Dwight. Yes, I'm with Dwight Lundgren, our new Vergas mayor. And I thought it would be good to just sit down and visit with you a little bit, Dwight. You got elected in by 10 votes. And so, you know,
there wasn't a landslide.
Like we were talking earlier, you know, you're always going to have half and half, you know. And I remember my dad as a politician always said, you only need that 51% of the people that agree with you. And, I wanted to just visit with you today to see what your thoughts are about the state of the city and what your plans are and vision and just see how that's going. But first, tell me a little bit about your background.
My background starts in 5th grade.
5th grade? Okay.
At 5th grade, I was working with Lyle Cole, the milkman from Frazee.
Oh, I remember him. He used to deliver here in Vergas.
And I delivered with him. Saturday was my job, was delivering milk with him.
So that's how you got to know Vergas.
That's how I got to know Vergas.
Okay.
Because I was delivering milk to all the houses in town. But then from then on, it went, a lot of the guys in this town my age, we went to school together.
Okay.
Because about that time, that's when the schools combined.
Sure, consolidation of Vergas and Frazee.
Frazee together.
Sure.
So I went to school with a lot of them, and we know each other, and it's been a historical thing together because I've watched Vergas grow and I've watched Frazee grow. And right now, Vergas is outpacing the towns around it.
We have a lot of good going on, right?
There's a lot of young people in this town that have faith in this town.
Yeah.
And they're showing it by investing their time and efforts into this town, which I think is great.
It is great.
Because we
do have the advantage, you know, because I love all of our small towns in the area, and I love to be able to work with them. We do have the natural resources advantage with our lakes, and so I'll never discredit that because we have a lot of good going. We've got a lot of good people, but we got to keep in mind, and you know, when I say that, we got to make sure that we preserve it too.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's part of the city council's job.
We have ordinance in place, this, that, those, them, and everything.
So let's get back to, okay, so you graduated from Frazee, and then did you go on to, what did you do after that, Dwight?
I graduated in class 68, joined the Marine Corps, spent 17 months in Vietnam, 3 years in the service, and then came home. Years worked for the city of Two Harbors for 4 years. That's where I got my start in city work. It was in 1971. And I worked the city there, then I took time off, did some schooling, went for construction and stuff like this, and I got back into city work in 81 with the city of Perham.
Okay.
And so I've spent totally about 25 years or more in city work employment.
So you understand how cities work. You understand that that it has to go through a process. I mean, that's always interesting to people that you know, are not familiar with city work, you know, and they want something done. And as you can tell, I'm talking a little bit about myself. And I'm like, okay, let's get this done. But there is a process.
And it's and that process is not set by the city.
No, it's set by the state.
It's set by the state and the federal government. And the city has their own guidelines which they have to follow.
Correct.
And this continues the process because people come in and, well, I want this done. Can I do this? Well, let's write it down. We'll check it out. We'll see what the state law says, federal law says, and city ordinance says. Because city ordinance can trump a lot of the state and federal laws, but not all.
Right. And so I think that's a very key thing, having had a lot of city work experience. You understand that it's not an immediate thing.
No.
And that it does have to go through a process. Tell me about your platform of what you ran on and what made you choose to run. How did that all come about? You were just sitting there one day and said, I want to be mayor?
I've been asked about my platform several times.
Okay.
And I had no platform.
Okay.
The only thing is, somebody was visiting us one day, and they got to mention that, well, if for $2 you can run for mayor. I said, well, I'm retired. I have nothing to do. This will get me out of the house. I'm out of Karen's hair for a while. And I went out to city office the next day, and I applied. Yeah, they put my name on the ballot, and everything went through, and it was all done properly.
Well, you must have had a passion to see the city continue to thrive.
I guess my passion is for a city to be run properly within the guidelines, and everybody in town benefit, not just a few, everybody in town benefit from what is coming forth from the city. Whereas if this person over here wants a house built, it has to meet certain guidelines with everybody else so it stays the same. And conformity is one thing that the city has to have.
Correct.
If we don't have conformity, then we just got a mess.
Oh, right, you have chaos.
And I'm thinking, like Main Street downtown, this street here is going to be done next year, the year after, I believe.
Done as far as sidewalks?
Resurfacing and the county is redoing it.
Okay.
That's what I understand. I wouldn't say I was positive on this, but it's been talked of.
Okay. You talk about transparency. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that. Are you feeling that maybe there's a need for more transparency in this city?
Well, the problem we have right now is everybody in town thinks that Julie sends a letter because you don't have a dog license.
Julie, the city clerk.
The city clerk, Julie Lammers, the city clerk manager. And they think that she is just doing this
because she doesn't like them.
Well, because she doesn't like them, or she doesn't like the cats or the dogs.
Okay.
And people have to realize that everything she does comes from the council.
Correct.
And if it's not from the council, then there's guidelines that the council follows to advise Julie on what to do. So if somebody wants to complain about something, they can complain to Julie, and all Julie has to say is, well, that is something that you can talk to the mayor about because he's well versed in this or he knows what's going on.
Right.
And it's not my idea to do this. So.
Right. Well, and then it goes to the council. I know that the city in the last few years was very, very good about setting up subcommittees for personnel and for the parks group and for streets and planning.
Yeah.
Those committees, do you feel are important to bring things to the council, or what do you think about that process?
The committee process, I believe Julie Bruin set most of them, and she did a good job doing it. And if we don't have committees, we're going to have council meetings that are 4 hours long.
Right, yeah.
And whereas with the committees, which I had the pleasure of assigning everybody their committee that they had to be on this time.
Right.
Because the mayor does that every time. And it's something that the initial discussion takes place. The citizen says this. And so, okay, it's brought to Personnel Committee, Event Center Committee, or Street and Sidewalks and everything. And from there, then that committee will discuss, and they will be the ones that do the legwork. They will talk to, if it's streets, they will talk to the street guys, anybody else that's involved in that project. And then when they're done, the recommendation then goes to the council. And 90% of the time, the council will follow the recommendation because they're the ones that have looked at it.
Have done the legwork for it. Yeah. So Dwight, we could talk for many hours, and I think if I'm understanding correctly, what you really, with transparency, you want people to be communicating with you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had planned on having 1 day a week in the morning, and I'm still working with Tim on this at Loon's Nest to have
like just a town
coffee
meeting.
with the mayor.
Coffee with the mayor. I like that. Yes.
So that I can go in there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can sit in the corner where I can't get away.
Oh no, you want to be out in the open.
And then anybody that wants to come in and complain about something, talk about anything.
Yeah, and it's not just complaints. I like to think of it more ideas.
Things,
how people can help and benefit the city.
There's a couple of guys in this town that I personally know, and they have given me some ideas on things that would be beneficial to the town.
Sure.
It's not something that's going to happen right now.
Right.
But it can happen if we can have the right people involved.
Right. So, Dwight, would you be willing to? We've got a few other things that it would be good to talk about. Are you willing to come back on for a second show and be able to, talk a little bit about that? I'd like to hear some of your ideas on that. And so, I appreciate, anybody new that we've got on there that comes in with new ideas, but we also have to honor, some of the things that have been done in the past too. So, we're going to bring Dwight back for a second show, and so you stay tuned for watching that, and you have a good day in Vergas.